Poetry of Resistance podcast.
Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao.
Non basterà, non basterà.
Co-funded by the European Commission under the CERV program.
Queremos, ouvimos e lemos, não podemos ignorar.
Welcome everyone. Today we would like to talk about art, about culture, about how artistic resistance movements helped bringing down the totalitarian and populist regimes, how they helped inspire people and unite people around the same ideals, how they raise awareness, how they mobilize the population that were being oppressed. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I'm a young person, obviously, so I cannot express exactly how was the feeling back in the days in the Franco era.
Yes,
because-
of course, you didn't experience
Exactly.
that.
But from my experience from my grandfather, for example, or the last generation, I would say that yes, it was a horrible situation in my country, not only for the political things, also for the cultural things. And I came from a region in Spain, it's in the south, Andalusia.
Andalusia?
Yeah, exactly. And I had the feeling that we were super oppressed in the Franco era, especially us, because we don't have a lot of industry in our region. And I really think that we were super oppressed. And we were lost in the country, let's say, because nobody paid attention to us. And yeah, I feel like we are very angry with the situation back in the days, because nowadays we don't have the same power that people from another areas or from another region from my country.
And there were any particular song or painting or book, for example,
Yeah, of course.
that you
Mhm.
you know took a great role in.
Of course, Andalusia is full of magical people. We have in poetry something like Lorca, for example, painters like Picasso, singer and artist like Lola Flores, for example. She was a singer from flamenco, and all of them spend their anger and their angry, let's say, about this kind of situation, about this kind of experience that it was horrible back in the days. And they had the voice and they use it. So yeah, we are super proud of them. We really feel like we are very attached. Let's say.
We are recording this podcast in a very special week. Portuguese people celebrate the 50th anniversary of their revolution, the April 25th revolution that brought freedom and democracy to their country. Why do you think that speaking about and singing in that case, singing about fraternity, brotherhood, and freedom was inspiring for people in that time?
I think the way of that the song is talking about the freedom is that people on back in the day, they were off of what was the outside world. They didn't know some things about Eastern Europe, and they were retrograde.
Yes.
Portugal was really off, and
There was a saying. Sorry for interrupt you, but there was a saying, uh, supposedly by the Portuguese dictator Salazar, that Portugal was proudly alone.
yeah. Yeah.
But there's no proud in being alone.
That's it. And I think Grundla is like trying to express the freedom and maybe connecting to the outside world to make people informed, because most of the Portuguese people back in the day were not informed of different uh, ways of politics, and they didn't knew how to fight back. And I think that was a really good song to express. And the amazing thing is that they could pass the censorship, and that's amazing. Well,
Yes.
how the song passed, And yeah, that was a really good song.
And more than a song, if you agree, it became a symbol of the resistance, and
Yeah.
um, so it embodied the aspirations and values of that opposition
Yeah, yeah.
movement. Do you agree with that, Claudia? What do you think the this kind of art pieces? We were talking about songs, but Raul, for example, also talked about paintings and other kind of art pieces. In your opinion, what are they power? How can they have this power of mobilizing people, changing people views?
Well, the easiest way, the easiest way to express our feelings and our opinions is through art, and I think it helps a lot too because everyone could look at it, and everyone has a different way of seeing art, but it passes the same messages to everyone, and it helps a lot to fight for what we actually want.
Yes, arts have the power to have a lot of powers, of course. But one of the most important ones, in my view, is to raise awareness, to make people think, to provoke them. Art has the power to raise awareness about social and political injustice, for example, and to expose the problems, in some cases, the atrocities that are committed. In your view, and in your experience, of course, um, when we live in a democratic uh, country, in a democratic scenario, when our freedoms are not uh, put in case, do art have the same value or not so much?
Okay, that's a tough one. Okay,
I was keeping
so
it just for you.
I was about to speak about Lithuanian singing revolution, but that's okay.
Please do. We will have time to speak about this in another time.
Okay, so maybe I'll tell a little about Lithuanian singing revolution.
Okay,
So
please.
basically, Lithuania was part of the three Baltic countries, so Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And basically, after the Second World War, they were all part of Soviet Union. And during like 1987, 1991, they all started thinking that they once again want to be free countries. And basically, there was a thing that we learned in school, in our books, from our grandparents, because myself, I'm too young to have
Of course.
lived out that period. So basically, they had a thing called singing revolution, where they would sing songs. There would be folklore festivals,
Yes.
and basically that's how they would spread the word. And also an interesting thing for me was that Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, they had the Baltic chain of people, basically, where they would hold, like they would come to the main roads and they would hold hands like to each other, like all the countries by in a line. So that was kind of amazing for me to read as a kid.
What's the name of that movement? Sorry.
Singing revolution.
Yes, but the
But
chain.
the chain, the Baltic way, I think.
Okay.
So yeah. And about your previous question,
Yes.
keeping like how does the art itself affect us right now?
Yes.
And
Nowadays.
does it keep the like, I don't think that we think much of freedom. We're listening to music nowadays, and when we're seeing art, but probably a lot of like. Modern museums, they sometimes have exhibitions that come back to our past, and where us that didn't outlive those historic years can see how it was, and that allows us to not forget the past and where we come from.
Very nice. Guys, we will end this podcast from now. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for your
Thank
participation,
you.
and let's make art count again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Poetry of Resistance podcast.
Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao.
Non basterà, non basterà.
Co-funded by the European Commission under the CERV program.
Ouvimus, ouvimus e lemos, não podemos